Here is why registering your business name alone with CAC is not enough protection for you and your business. Welcome to L'Education, our weekly legal podcast, where we break down legal concepts, legal topics, legal issues to your understanding without having to go to the law school. All right. We've started our series on intellectual property for a while now, and today we are going to start our discussion on trademarks. I'm sure you have heard trademarks before, but you may not understand what it means or how to go about it. Yes, that's why you are here, and that's why we are here to enlighten you. All right, so let's start with what trademark is. Just simply put it, not too much grammar. Trademark simply means a mark that you use or you intend to use in your course of business, in the course of your business, to identify your product, to distinguish your product from any other one. Simple way of doing it. You are a producer of, say, bags, for instance, and there are many bags, there are many bag makers around. What makes your home bag different from every other one is the distinctive mark that you put on it, that if I go to the market without having to ask who is the producer of this, merely seeing your mark, I can identify it as your product. For instance, you see a mark like this. Which products does that represent? Nike. For cars, you see a circle with a star-like mark inside of it. You don't need to argue whether is it a Toyota or is it a Mazda. You know that that's actually a Benz. Those are marks that distinguish that product from every other product. That's what we call trademarks. Now, you can have that mark on your products and yet may not be able to stop other people from using the same mark unless you register it as a trademark. Unlike copyright, where you need not register to be able to enforce your right, you need not register it to have a right to stop others from using your works and all. Not like that for trademark. Trademark requires registration before you can enforce that right, before you can even have a right at all to be able to use it or stop others from using that mark. That is why registration of trademark is very, very important, especially for all business owners. Still talking about these marks. For trademarks, what are the kind of things or what are the kind of marks that you can register? It can be a name, that is the name of your company or whatever name. It can be a mark. It may even be a signature. It may be your logo. It may be something you design to just distinguish your product and all. And it may also be a combination of both. That is a combination of your name, a combination of a name and a mark. It can be a mark, it can be a name, it can be a combination of both. What are the qualifications for registering that mark? Number one is that you must be using the mark or propose to use the mark. That's number one. And number two is that it must be in connection with a particular trade. Now, let me clarify that. You are registering, look, just like we said, that you see a circle and you see a star-like mark in it. We know that for cars, that is Benz. Benz, unless they register that trademark for other kind of businesses, they cannot stop any other person from using a similar mark for a trade that is not car manufacturing. For instance, I set up a rice manufacturing company, for instance, and the logo of my special rice is that same thing. Unless Benz, as the producers of Benz, have registered that mark to prevent me from using it, there is nothing absolutely stopping me from registering it. Trademark is also location dependent. If you want to register or you want to stop somebody from using your mark or that's your trademark that you have registered in Nigeria, in the US, there is the requirement for you to also register that trademark in the United States for you to be able to enforce it. You will only be able to enforce your trademark in the region, on the location where it is registered, and in the course of business that you have registered it for. So if you have registered your mark for, say, leather works, you cannot hold somebody who is producing books, for instance, from using that mark, unless and except you also register that mark in all those different courses of business. Now, there are certain marks that are regarded as non-registrable marks. What are these marks? Number one, if the mark is deceptive or scandalous, just like the name, if the mark is meant to deceive the members of public about, maybe say, the quality of your product or anything, or is scandalous, something that is contrary to morality of the society and all. For instance, you say that you want to register your product and you want to use some perverted words, some sexually perverted words or anything, that will be regarded as scandalous marks and they will not be registrable. Another disqualification is you cannot register identical or resembling marks. What I mean by that is if there is a trademark already on that kind of business, or maybe your mark is even resembling it such that it can deceive members of the public, it will not be accepted for registration. Another one is names of chemical substance. You will not be allowed to register those. For instance, you created a product and you want to name it gold, you want to name it mercury, you want, all of those things will not be acceptable for registration. Now to duration of trademarks. Trademark in the first instance is registrable for 7 years. 7 years. So if you register your trademark this year, it will expire after 7 years. Unlike copyright that has the life of the author and some years and all, trademark is for 7 years, but is renewable after that expiration. Is renewable for a period of 14 years at a time, continuously like that. Maybe in another video, or maybe in the future, I will put you through on the procedure for registration of trademark. But here is where we pause today, and we believe that you have learned something from this. If you have learned something, if this has benefited you, please share, repost, like, drop a comment, and ensure that you also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.